All right, timed it to the second. Hey everyone, welcome to another ComicBase live stream. I'm Pete Bickford. I'm the guy who does ComicBase and a few other things, and I'll be your host for the next hour-ish, something like that, to talk about, in this case, a lot of some comic book things, some comic-based things, and a lot about summer movies. We'll be showing us some things we are almost certain to be copyright strike. So hope you guys are watching this one live, because who knows what happens to it after that. I haven't done one of these shows in a very long time because they're honestly a lot of work to set up. But thank you. Our mod is in the house, Mr. Greg Hecht, and we're crossing our fingers here and daring the gods to strike us down on this one, because we're actually trying to make something happen that's technical. Anyway, but hey, welcome everyone. Glad you can make it. We had some placeholder art up earlier this morning because I need to post the announcement before Mark could get me the art for the final thing, because I hadn't told him what the show was going to be about until this morning. And so it was a old cover of Blue Beetle, and a guy named Pablo Rene Legaspi, somehow saw the announcement immediately and said, "Hey, yeah, Blue Beetle and the Creeper, nice to see the artwork. I have the largest Ditko collection west of the Mississippi River." So right on, Pablo. That's exciting, and I feel terrible that I had to pull it out because I got the final art, and I didn't want to don't want to confuse everybody, frankly. But anyway, that's kind of cool. Anyway, Richard Scott all in the house here. Agent DeCamp joining us, or Viejo. Robbie from Toledo is here. Mike Beam from Vancouver. It looks like everyone's having a decent enough day weather-wise. We'll take it. Southeast Pennsylvania, Chris Prasel's in the house. And let me see what else is going on here. Yeah, Greg says, yeah, the sound check with Pete went smoothly ever today, so something incredibly craptacular is going to happen during the actual show. That's the way it goes. Anyway, Larry Herring here, and I think that's Ed Libby joining us here. I'm sorry, D.A. Libby, I apologize. From Roseville, California, lovely area. Hope things are doing well out there. All right, guys. Well, so let's get down to news-ish type things. ComicBase 26.2.1 point lot of numbers is the current build right now. I haven't pulled the trigger on making 26.2.2 an official push yet, mostly because there's nothing sufficiently broken about 26.2.1 that is like I must shove it into the stream right away. So if you guys do want the latest and greatest, though, if you turn on preliminary updates, just go under setup in ComicBase, go to setup, and at the very top where it says check for updates, if you check that box, it says include preliminary updates, then you'll get the very latest one. So some of the things that we added in, I had to look at my own notes to see this one. We've expanded the alphabetization algorithm when it creates titles to handle all the foreign articles from basically every language we could find that we could state using Western alphabet. So all the dir, der, das, des, il, la, ler, etc. They're all in there, and they are all alphabetizing properly according to that now. We added a new search function, so you actually can now search for tags, titles which don't have a tag. And if anyone's feeling like a real go-getter on that one, if you wanted to say find things without tags, if you know what the title's about yourself, if you wanted to tag it and submit as a correction, that would be really cool and much appreciated. So that's a thing. One thing that's kind of cool, we've finally got some of our back end systems working a little better. Is it's one of those things that they get the short shrift of things. If there's something that will affect you guys immediately, we always try to make that work. But if it's something that just kind of annoys us and our systems, that always it goes the back of the line. But one thing we did do that helps, I think, both of us, is we fully integrated the auto renewal logic into the update check. So importantly, if you're one of those guys who signed up for automatic renewal and you're like 30 days out or less from your renewal date, and typically you get a little nag message saying, it's coming up for renewal, you sure you don't want to update? And if you've already signed up to update, it will no longer bug you about those things. So that alone may be worth the cost of updating. We fixed a problem with ISBN 8 codes, which is really... So ISBN, International Standard Book Number, you guys probably know about those. It's like the number the book industry essentially stamps on everything to let you know what the official book title is. Well, there's an ISSN number. I don't know what the S is for. The other S is for. It's not book subscription. I don't know, something. But anyways, but there's also a thing called ISBN 8 or ISSN 8. But those codes are they're a real thing. They typically apply to magazines and newspapers, and the formatting logic we were having was doing such a great job formatting the ISBN 13 codes when we push an update out to the server that it would just strip out all the ISSN 8s that we had in our master database from ever going up to the server because they didn't look right to it. We fixed that, which had a really interesting side effect of that if you are one of the people who downloads newspapers every week, and if you don't want to be one of those people who downloads newspapers, go to your file tools, go to Manage Pictures and Movies. Not Manage Pictures and Movies, but media types in database. Matter of fact, that would be a really good thing to actually show you because it's a decent tip if you guys have not done this already. If you just go up in ComicBase, you can actually make your database a fair amount more, efficient. If you go up here, go to File Tools, and say choose media types in database. Now, by default, it's going to have the books, comics, and magazines, not newspapers. But if you, for whatever reason, had an older database before we made that not the default or something else, if you have newspapers in there and you don't want them, just uncheck newspapers. It'll pull them all out and shrink your database by quite a bit. But also, I mean, if you don't click books or magazines, I guess if you don't click comic books, you could take those out. But I hope you click something because otherwise the program doesn't have much point. But anyway, if you are one of the people who collected newspapers and you've been updating the almost 4 million newspapers that are in the database right now, you probably saw something like 3.2 million corrections come down as part of the last update, as it was putting back all those ISSN 8 numbers that we'd never managed to push the final mile up to our server and then back down to you guys before. So if that took a really long time for you last time, apologies, it won't do it again. But at least your database is fully in sync with ours now, so that's a thing. Anyway, so let me see what else is kind of interesting. Oh, with this one, I like this change a lot. This is one that's been on my to-do dream list for honestly decades, which is when you let me go actually show it again. If you go back to, let me switch my keyboard, the file menu over here, and you say, sorry about that, file tools. There's an option here that says rebuild lists. Now, the series information one has always been kind of dull. It's never been all that interesting about what's actually being built there. Basically, it recalculates the alphabetization keys. If you've got something like the Avengers or Avengers, it calculates out the display titles and a couple other things like that. It got more interesting when tags came along, but it got a little bit more interesting now because there's another piece of series information, stuff that's kept at the title level, not the individual issue level, that it's always been like a perpetual cleanup, job for us here at ComicBase. And I always wanted to make it more automated. And we finally have done this, and that's the years published. So if there's a comic book that had been running continuously, say from 2023 to the current day, typically right there was 2023 to 2026 or 2023 to present. The magic of 2023 to present, if you choose to do it that way, is that when you actually write it as -present, it automatically rolls the year forward when it calculates the searches when a new year comes along. So if you're finding, you can do a find for titles published during certain years. You can say, well, show me all the titles that were published, that were on the stands in 2018 or something. That search gets automatically, updated if you have the -present done. But other than that, it acts the same way. One thing that always bugged me is let's say that the thing stopped publishing in 2025. Or let's say I'd put it as 2020, 3 to 2025 because it's 2025 now. And then I didn't think to look at it again as the new year rolled around and the first issue of 2026 rolled in. And no one thought to go back there and update that title to stretch out the years published again. Nothing happens is sometimes maybe that the last time it was published was way back in 2018 or 1985 or something. If people don't think to go back and update that year's published manually, the header of when the series was published gets out of sync. Nothing gets out of sync is when trade paperbacks come along. a lot of times there'll be a series that say ran during the 90s, but then it'll have trade paperback releases that appear sporadically through the next several years. So you'll see ranges that say like, yeah, this is Six from Sirius. It was published in 1989 to 1990, and then also in 2002, 2008, and 2015, which is when the trade paperbacks would come out. So I always thought, well, wouldn't it be great if there was a way to have that automatically keep itself updated, as opposed to just every time an editor spots it, going in, editing it by hand, and then it sticks that way until the next editor spots something off and edits by hand. And so now actually, if you say rebuild with series information, it will do a very cautious trimming or expanding of the year range if it detects that the last published issue is before the year that you say it was, or after the year it says it was. It'll actually kind of patch up that year's published. Now, it does it very cautiously. In other words, we know that there's going to be things that just don't have cover dates, and so if you have the year range mostly right, if we don't have cover dates to tell us wrong, that it's wrong, we will not mess with it. But if we can see that the year's range goes during a certain range, but we definitely have cover dates that fall outside it, we will expand the range to include those cover dates. So that's actually a really cool thing. I'm really happy about that happened. And so if you're watching closely the last couple updates, you probably saw there were just a ton of different changes that came down for the years published, and you'll see new ones as series come and go during the year. You'll also see that stuff be a little bit more rigorous about updating. So yeah, hopefully, I think that helps. It's been, like I say, it's been on my wish list for a really long time, but it's technically a little weird to have to do. So we actually got that in and tested, and we like the way it looks. So your opinions, please. And then this one again, it's the last thing in my change notes I want to note is that the correction processing is now going a little faster for us here about the way it assigns your user points and going through things more quickly. So happy about that, and apologies to anyone who, when we were still working out the kinks on that one, got short shrifted by a couple points. But it's all working now, and it's faster for the editors, which means we can get through your stuff faster, and that's a good thing for everyone. So all right, that's it. Other things in the world of news. Let's switch back to the main camera here. Dark Horse Comics, apparently the 59 employees of standing who have the right to request such things have sent a letter to the management of Dark Horse Comics saying we would like to unionize, or at least we'd like to vote on unionizing or something like that. And they've given management, apparently, if you want to start a union in your place of work, there's a letter that has to be written, and then the management gets to write back to you. They've given them until today to write back. I don't know what happened of that, but they say, if you don't do that, we're going to oh, good Lord, I almost said the CBLDF, but no, basically the division of the government that handles unionization complaints, and they're taken from that. So good luck to them. They would, if they did that, be the third comic company in pretty much the entire market to have unionized. The other people who've unionized are 7 Seas and the 6 people who run the office at Image Comics. I don't know if it's still 6. They might have cut back to 4, but anyway, it's that's guys, good luck to you, however it happens. Since Dark Horse was bought by, I believe, Embracer Group is the name of the company that did it. They kicked out Mike Richardson, who had been the founder and really the big guy over there. Big guy in all senses of the word. He's a huge man if you ever actually stand next to him. He's like 6'7" or something. I believe he used to be in a high school basketball, or might played college basketball. But anyway, they kicked him out over disputes about something or other. And so I would hope that they keep doing what they had been doing in the past, because Dark Horse has always been like a really inspirational indie story in the comic industry. They were always known for putting out some really quality stuff. They were one of the big folks bringing manga into the US market. All sorts of things that you've seen in the movies, everything from The Mask to Hellboy, etc., all came from Dark Horse's efforts. So Umbrella Academy, you name it. So yeah, a lot of great stuff has come out of them. I'd like to see them keep going. So hope you guys work it out, whatever it is. All right, so and Seattle is in the chat, says hi. Let me see what else is going on. Okay, and is that the end of the news? I believe it is. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so um, if you guys have not been to the movies for a while, and I'll admit, with the exception of Project Hail Mary, I had not been in an actual movie theater in like a year, which is crazy for me because if you told my teen self that, I mean, I went to the movies at least 2, 3 times a month if I could, and if I could do it 2, 3 times a day, I would have. I mean, this is how you spent your money in the summer, especially if you had anything else to do. And so, yes, I did see Star Wars in the theaters 23.5 times. You know, and of course, I'm talking about the only Star Wars that counts. But anyway, Star Wars is in the theaters again, and a bunch of people I know just went and made the trek to see it. You know, a new Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu was in the theaters, and it did not even last a week as the top spot. It is the biggest wipeout of a Star Wars movie that we've ever seen. I mean, there really isn't anything to it. But yeah, it actually got eclipsed as the #1 on a Wednesday, so it didn't even make the full. It opened on like Memorial Day weekend. It didn't even make the whole week to get that done. And it had a 70% drop off in week #2. It's currently #3 at the box office 2 weeks into its run. That is by itself a kind of whoa, that happened kind of thing, especially because Star Wars Mandalorian Grogu, it was made for $165 million. They think with marketing, it's going to cost between 265 and 300 million will be the total spend that Disney did on them. And because of these, theater split percentages and so forth, they need between 412 and 530 million to even break even for the theater split. So that's a thing. So yeah, well, it's not looking great on that score of things. I'm going to actually go ahead and proceed with the copyright striking of ourselves right now, because I'm going to be playing some trailers of the whole thing, because and I'm going to the extent that I can, I'm going to not talk over the trailer, because I always find that really annoying. So let's watch the trailer, see what you think, draw your own conclusions, and let's go to the hyperdeck. All right, give me just a second to cue it up. And finding the control, and nope, not that one. Pardon me, sorry. Put on glasses. Okay. You know what a really smart person would have done is, okay, there we go. All right, there we go. This is the official trailer of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Impressive.
Good shot, baby.
So I've seen a couple versions of that trailer. I'm going to say that is the shorter one, and I'm going to say less pukey than some of the other ones I've seen. Like apparently there's a part in the movie where he, Grogu, the little baby Yoda guy, is getting kidnapped by really really tiny little munchkins like quarter of his size or less, and they only apparently, as they capture him, try to figure out, well, wait, where do we put him? He's really much larger. And they had that in the trailer that I saw beforehand, and it was like, you got to be kidding me. Is this anyway? If you guys saw it, let me know your reactions. I have not seen it. I got to admit, there was a bunch of people who were heading out to see it, and I wanted to get some work done, so I held back, and when they got back from it, well, the friends who had went to see it, actually, one of them wound up at the hospital. I don't think it had anything to do with the movie, but that was my Memorial Day weekend. It was weird, but I was glad to have dodged out on that one, all things considered. All right, so the interesting thing about that one, other than, okay, so you thought Solo did not do great. This one's really not looking great, but that's a Disney problem, not a you problem. The thing that is doing great, which is actually kind of interesting, is the number one and number two things at the box office right now are, this is crazy. They are independent, really, really, really small movies. I mean, like literally one of them is called a micro budget movie, and it was made for less than $1 million. It was made for $750,000. Made by, respectively, the number one thing at the box office just at the moment. Well, the one that displaced Mandalorian and Grogu was a thing called Obsession. It's made for $750,000. And it was made by someone who earned their skills doing YouTube stuff. 26-year-old. Is currently sitting at $155 million worldwide, $111 million domestic. And this thing made its money back within the first couple minutes of playing. It's insane how profitable this thing is. This is going to be the stuff of box office legends. But anyway, I hear good things about it. People who've seen it are saying it's a really good flick. I have not seen it yet, but I mean, seriously, this one and the one I'm about to tell you about next are the ones that are going to get me back into the theater probably sometime this week. Let's go to the video on this one, see what you guys think.
Have you ever actually like flirted with Nikki?
I'm gonna go get some shots.
I'll come with you if she means this much to you. And I know she does. To say, Nikki, I think we should grab a drink sometime.
Nikki, wait. I was gonna ask you,
What?
I lost my train of thought.
I
Good night. What else?
Why?
One wish, Willow. You only get one wish. I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the entire world.
I love you so much. A love only the branch of a willow tree could conjure.
It's weird how you two are dating all of a sudden. Like super dating.
I think Nikki is going through something.
Like what? Is she okay?
No.
Jeez, what kind of spells you put on her?
Nikki? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you! I was calling to see if there's a way I can cancel a wish.
I'm sorry, we don't really do that.
So she's just stuck like this forever?
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you live.
As long as I live?
So she seems nice. Yeah. Yeah. D.A. Levy says, by the way, he saw Tuner instead of Obsession, waiting for the Masters Universe next week. We'll be getting to that. Tuner, I also hear, is a good one, but I don't know enough about it to say too much about, but I know some people are really jazzed about that one as well. Yeah, that's the one that's number one at the box office right now. And like I said, made by a 26-year-old for like, it's the kind of money that, like, I think if any of us were willing to like mortgage our houses and empty our kids' college funds and maybe run all our credit cards up, we might be able to raise that kind of money ourselves. Which the idea that if you could then turn that into 155 million worldwide in 2 weeks, that's pretty cool. Movies that make money. Who knew that that's still a thing? We had some kind of clue that this might be a thing when a flick called Iron Lung came out a couple 3 months back. It was made for $3 million by a YouTuber who calls himself Markiplier. I don't know what his actual name is. I did not write that one down. It took $3 million, owned its spot on really not that wide of a release. Made $51 million worldwide, but it was one of those things where it's like very small team, very small budget, strong idea, really good genre win, and I am a big fan of genre wins. The next one I want to do, I'm actually going to start by playing this one because I want to see if my Stream Deck will actually, do the right thing. It's called Backrooms. This is one that I literally, when I was at the movies last time, watching Project Hail Mary, I saw the trailer for it, and it was whispering to Carolyn, I was like, we got to see that. That looks cool. That was my take, at least. So see what you guys think.
I found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
Hello? Anyone there?
Look, I know how this sounds, but you gotta understand, it's massive in there.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
Okay, I'm gonna come back here with proof.
All right, you feel me? Yeah. Follow my lead.
Clark, what is this?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've been there every night since I found the place, and I still barely scratched the surface. All right, just take it slow.
Oh my God.
Pull me up, pull me up, pull me up! What do you see?
All these rooms. This place builds them. It's like a maze. It just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
Clark, can you hear me?
I don't understand. What is this?
It's beautiful. Am I right?
Hello?
All right. I gotta say that one just looks freaking cool to me. Oh, stop. Wait. Okay. Yes. Apparently, when you hit the thing, it's just keeps going on the hypertext. Yeah. It's based on an internet short film thing I did not see. The same guy, I believe, who made the short films is the guy who did them. Although I'm not sure if he's the guy who came up with the originally called a creepypasta. It's basically fanfic for writing, horror films, just horror stories. I don't think he's the guy who did that one. But the guy who did it was 26. He's 26 years old. They gave him a $10 million budget on this one. I'm sorry, a 20-year-old. 20-year-old guy. I think when he originally got involved with making films on YouTube, he was like 13. He's currently 20. The guy can't even buy a drink right now. And he is making, it's depending on the day, it is either the #1 or the #2 film at the box office. Looks like it is coming in currently at $126 million worldwide, 89 million domestic. Unbefreaking-leavable. I mean, Gen Z has, or Gen Alpha has freaking arrived at this point. So well freaking done. And someone says that you're having trouble with the stream. That's interesting. I'm still shows I'm live. Hopefully what happened, stream unavailable. They got me last week for that is it. Okay. Let's do this. We're going to have to restart the stream.